everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a review update video. I have a lot of products sitting out here in front of me. I wanted to go through some of the products that I've been testing over the last several months and give you guys an update because I do have some surprising updates for you guys. Also, if you guys are curious about the makeup that I'm wearing, I am going to be doing a full kind of get ready with me chit chat video, kind of update on my life video. So that video will be up after this one, so be on the look for that. Let's go ahead and jump into these products. So the first one I want to talk about is this Hourglass foundation. So I recently reviewed this, and in my review, I was planning on continuing to wear it and then wearing it in a get ready with me and kind of give you guys my update on that. But I got so preoccupied with all the home improvements and stuff that my husband and I were doing, I never got to it. But I have been wearing this for a while now. I've been testing it and wearing it out in the heat. I have a lot of thoughts about it. So first of all, let's talk about the shades, because in my opinion, the shades are probably the thing that tick me off about this foundation, because I actually really do still love it. It's really long lasting and it wears so beautifully, and it does kind of give the skin a soft ambient glow. I would say it's like a slight ambient glow. It's just a really gorgeous foundation. The trick number one is you can't apply too much. There have been one or two times that I've applied too much and it's not forgiving. If you end up getting heavy-handed with the foundation, it's not gonna wear very pretty. At least it didn't on me. There's a lot of foundations out there that are pretty forgiving when it comes to that. This is not one of them. So if you have a tendency to get a little heavy-handed with foundations, I don't know that I would fully recommend this, but this would be a nice mixer to mix with a nice skin tint because it's so pigmented and it would be a perfect mixer. But the shades, let's talk about the shades for a second. The shades are off, you guys. So in my original review, I put up a swatch of this foundation next to the image that was up on the website, and they're completely different. This shade is much lighter than what it appears online, and definitely much lighter than I personally believe that the model they're claiming is wearing shade 9 warm, because the model is much darker than I am and this is a lighter shade. So I just don't buy the fact that she's wearing it, and maybe it's just me, I don't know. And let's be honest, Hourglass has been accused of not being fully honest with their promo images. They just have not. And so I feel like this is kind of along that line, and unless we call these brands out, they're going to continue to do it. And Hourglass is not the only brand that does it. So I'm not picking on them. You know, some people get really mad at me when I come after Hourglass pretty hard. But the bottom line is, a lot of the times when I've come after Hourglass, it's because they've kind of deserved it. And this is no exception to that. They really have played a little bit of a trickery when it comes to these shades. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. It seems like it's kind of a census across the board, from fair to dark, deep. Like, it seems like the shades are just not quite accurate, and it's really hard, especially if you're buying online. So shade 9 warm is a little bit too yellow for me. I was thinking about buying shade 10.5, which is like a neutral undertone, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't done it yet. But my point is, if you're buying it online, be very aware that the shades are much lighter than they appear to be. And I think the best way to find the right shade in this is to go into your local Sephora if you can, and swatch and kind of put it on your neck, put it on your face, and see if you can get a shade match that way. That's my recommendation, because this is a little deceptive, but I'm still loving the foundation. It's really long wearing. It just looks so beautiful. It's a shame. It really is, because they did a great job, and it's the first foundation from Hourglass that I've really enjoyed, but I just do not like the deceptive promo images. That just really ticks me off. So anyways, those are my thoughts on the Hourglass. Let's talk about this from E.L.F. So this is the Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I compared this to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Falls filter, and I am loving this. In fact, crazy enough, I am reaching for this over the Hollywood Falls filter. It's just beautiful, and it gives a nice medium coverage, and I love the way that it wears throughout the day, and it's not too much highlight. And I like to wear it under my foundation, or I like to wear it all over the face and then like spot conceal with a stick foundation or something, or even a concealer. Like, it's just been a phenomenal product. I love it. E.L.F. knocked it out of the ballpark. My feelings have not changed, and I am continuing to use it and reach for it over the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Falls filter. So there is a lot to be said about that product from E.L.F. Let's talk about this from Caliray. So this is called their Free Dreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Skin Tint. This is like a clean brand on the Sephora website, and I picked this up and kind of, I think I was playing with this in a Get Ready With Me, testing out a few new products, I believe, and I actually really like this. So I originally bought shade 10, and I felt like shade 10 was a tad bit too dark for me. So I went ahead and bought shade 8, but now I kind of mix them together because they're perfect mixed, which is kind of such a bummer. But the trick with this, you have to give it a good shake. And the thing that I like about this is that it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a really kind of more dewy skin tint. When you think of skin tints, you think of them being a little bit more on the dewy side, but this is not dewy at all. In fact, as you blend it out, it kind of dries and sets down on the skin, and it really outperforms. It really does a great job. I wouldn't say it's as long lasting as like the Double Wear or something, right? But for being a skin tint, this is really a nice product. This is shade 8. If you're close to my complexion, that is shade 8. So it's a tad bit too light. I think it's going to be a good color for me in the winter though. So this is shade 10. And shade 10 is just a tad bit dark, just a tad, like it's just a little bit on that dark side. So when I mix them together though, it's like a really good shade. Like, it's good. See how good it is? Like that turns into a really good shade. If you have like combination skin and you're looking for a skin tint that isn't going to look super dewy or stuff throughout the day, I think this is a really nice option. Let's briefly talk about this foundation. Oh my gosh. So this is a hot mess for me, and I have tried it so many times. I've wanted it to work, and I don't know why. And I hate the packaging. I hate the packaging because it is quite greasy and gross, and you do have to mix it up every single time you use it. And I don't like that about it, but this is just a slip and slide on my face. This slips and slides all over my face. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It just is not for me on any level. I feel like it would probably be perfect for super dehydrated skin, but other than that, I just don't love it. I feel like it always sets on top of my skin, and no matter how much I brush it in and push it into the skin with a sponge, no matter what I do, I can never make it like melt into the skin. It just sits on top. And I think because it's got so many essential oils in it, that the oils kind of prevent it from kind of going down into your skin. I don't know, you guys, but it's just still not my favorite product at the end of the day. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Slip Tint from Saie. This is also their tinted moisturizer, and I believe I tried this in a Get Ready With Me testing out a few new products. I also was testing their concealer. Concealer is a hot freaking mess for me. This exaggerated every wrinkle. It's one of those concealers that emphasizes wrinkles that you don't know you have. Like, I had all of these wrinkles going this way and that way and cross-eyed. I was just like, oh, it is one of those that just highlights them all. The bad side about having a really hydrating concealer is that it can tend to emphasize every wrinkle, and that is exactly what this bugger does. I mean, it is awful. The other thing is that it does kind of have a little bit of an oily base to it. So again, it doesn't ever go down and set on the skin. So I've worn it several times trying to make it work. And it's one of those that when I put it on, it never goes down into the skin and kind of lays pretty. It just sets on the skin. And then as the day progresses, it just pulls from the skin and it kind of balls up and like settles into all the wrinkles. It's not flattering. No, I wouldn't recommend anybody try that concealer personally. Not my favorite. Don't recommend it. However, the skin tint I actually quite like. I do really like this. I wouldn't say it's super long lasting, but it wears like you think a skin tint would. So it's quite hydrating. I would recommend this for dry, kind of dehydrated skin, and I would recommend this over this all day long. So this one, even though it does kind of have that dewy, kind of essential oils texture, it does kind of melt down into the skin and lays really pretty. I would say combo, you're not gonna love it. Oily, you're not gonna love it, but dry skin, you might really enjoy this for a nice tinted moisturizer. And I wouldn't say that it lasts as long as the Caliray. So the Caliray lasts much longer, but there are different formulas. So I would say this is more of a natural finish where it kind of dries and sets down. And this is definitely more of a dewier kind of moisturizing finish. I don't reach for it as much because I really like the way that the Caliray wears. So, and I love my Chantecaille tinted moisturizer. So if I'm in that tinted moisturizer mode, I will either reach for the Caliray or the one from Chantecaille. But this is a really nice option, and this is way cheaper than the one from Chantecaille. So I definitely recommend this for dry skin. I think you would really enjoy this. Let's talk about the Dominique Cosmetics concealer. I've been still loving this. I bought this while I was on vacation in Florida, and I've been wearing it ever since. I love, love, love this concealer. It is so pretty and dries so naturally, and I wouldn't say it's too hydrating. It's not too matte. It's kind of a satin finish, and it looks really pretty. It's still one of my favorites, and I still love it. So definitely wanted to give it a shout out. Let's talk about the Westman Atelier powder. So this is called the Vital Pressed Skincare Powder. This one is very expensive. I mean, it's Westman Atelier, and let me say this. If you guys have been with me for a while, you will know that I haven't always loved everything from Westman Atelier. The foundation is a hot mess on me, so I don't love the foundation, and there's a few products that I do love from their brand. The iPods, I repeat, do not buy them. Do not waste your money on those iPods. Even though the pictures of them are just so beautiful and they draw you in, they are worthless. Like, I cannot stand those iPods. So don't waste your money on it. But this pressed powder, on the other hand, is fantastic. In fact, I kind of want to pick up the pink one during like the next Sephora sale or something. I don't need it, so I don't know that I will because I have so much powder, I don't need it. But I have been kind of curious to see if it would kind of brighten the under eyes a little bit, but I have just been loving this powder, and I find myself reaching for it over my Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm still reaching for the Charlotte Tilbury, don't get me wrong. It hasn't replaced the Charlotte Tilbury, but I have been using it. Now, the other thing that I want to say is this is one of the very few powders. Now, the Kosas powder is another one. The Kosas powder is a great powder. This one, I would say, is very similar to this from Westman Atelier. It's just obviously way cheaper. These are the only two powders that I can actually take a sponge down in and pick it up and go over top. Now with the Kosas, I do need to tap off extra and then go in. With the Westman Atelier, I don't. They're very similar in the way that they look, but I would say that the Westman Atelier is a little thicker of a formula. But if you're on a budget and you don't really want to spend the money on this one, I highly recommend the one from Kosas. Now my lid broke, so there you go. If you're on a budget and you don't want to spend $75 on this powder, I get it. The one from Kosas is a really nice alternative. But if you have the money to splurge on it and you've been wanting it, I super love this. I do. I think it's a gorgeous powder, but it's still really, really, really pricey. So you have to kind of decide if it's worth it, right? Let's talk about the LYS Beauty Stick Bronzer. I love this thing. These bronzers are phenomenal, super pigmented. And I'll be completely honest with you, I've been reaching for this one over this one from Charlotte Tilbury kind of crazy. Now here's the thing. I really like this formula from Charlotte Tilbury, and you get way more from the Charlotte Tilbury. So I think you get, this is 310 by the way. So you get 21 grams, which is 0.74 ounces of the Charlotte Tilbury. The LYS, oh, that writing is small, y'all. The LYS is 0.25, which is 7.2 grams, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna put it down here at the bottom of the screen. I need to get some glasses because I can't see up close as good anymore, but this is the shade Courage. So Courage is kind of similar to the shade Tan from Charlotte Tilbury. So let me swatch them for you. Now the difference between these two formulas is the Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit more of a satin finish and it dries a little bit more to a matte. It doesn't have a shine, but the LYS Beauty has a shine. So this is LYS Courage and this is Charlotte Tilbury Tan. So it kind of depends on what finish you're looking for, whether you want a little bit of shine or you want more of that satin kind of matte finish. You can see that the Charlotte Tilbury does have a little bit of a shine, but it's kind of down to a powder formula now, the way that it has blended out on my hand. Whereas the LYS, you could still kind of feel the creaminess of it. You don't want to apply too much of either one of them, especially the LYS Beauty Bronzer, because it will overtake and then you are left with so much product to kind of blend out. So I would go in with the lightest hand if you're using the one from LYS, and same goes for the Charlotte Tilbury, but especially the one from LYS. But I really like both formulas. They're both great. I have been using the one from LYS over the Charlotte Tilbury, but they're both really nice formulas. Let's talk a little bit about this. I still love this palette from Anastasia, and it has become one that I reach for all the time. It's just been one of those that I love all the shades. And recently, since I have now got the Pat McGrath Moonlight Seduction palette, because I've struggled with the mattes in that palette, I have loved using the shimmer shades with these mattes. In fact, I did that yesterday. I had to go to a doctor's appointment and I kind of mixed the two palettes together and the look was gorgeous. These mattes are so much easier for me to use. They're just a little bit more controllable, but I absolutely love this palette. And I feel like overall, I love the packaging. I love the aesthetics. It was what Anastasia needed. They needed to revamp, kind of get rid of the velvet palettes. You know what I'm talking about? And this is kind of got like that texture. I don't even know what you call this. I know what it is, but I can't think of it. It's a type of wallpaper I've been wanting to do in my half bath. But anyway, at the end of the day, still loving that palette. Let's talk about this from Wayne Goss. So this is the Smokey Quartz. And funny enough, this one I have found myself reaching for over most of the palettes that I have from him, except for the first one. I really love this color story from the first one. And I still love the pearl. The pearl is really beautiful. But this one, I just love all of these cool tone shades. And I'm actually wearing a little bit of this shade on the lower lash line today. It's just one that's just really easy. I really like this palette, and no matter how many times I stick my finger in this shade, it never gets hard panned, ever. It still has just as much shine as it does when I first swatched it, and it's such a soft, beautiful kind of pearlescence. Oh, it is pretty. Let's talk about this one from NATASHA Denona. Still really enjoying this one. I will definitely use this more in the fall time. I think this one is probably best for those who didn't really want to buy the bronze, or you have the bronze palette and you love it and you need more mattes, because the bronze palette from NATASHA Denona, the midi size, that one has a lot of shimmers in it versus not a lot of mattes. So this one is a nice option to pair with it. But I really like this. I do like this palette, and these tones are really beautiful on blue eyes. If you have blue eyes, these are the tones you want to wear because they are gorgeous. My thoughts really haven't changed as far as that palette goes. Let's talk about these for a quick minute. So these are from Sisley. I used these in a video. I want to say it was the same video as the Saie Beauty Foundation and Concealer. These are awful. So I continue to use them because these were like 40 some dollars a piece, if I'm not mistaken. This is their liquid eyeshadow. I got it in shade 4 and shade 5. This is a nice formula when you swatch it and you're like, oh, okay, these are gonna be nice. And then when I put them on the eye, every single time I've worn it probably at least 4 or 5 times, trying to see if I'm wearing it wrong. First of all, as you blend it out, they blend out kind of to nothing, which is fine, right? Especially if you're somebody that wants a little bit of color. These are nice for that, but they crack. Every single time I've worn them, they get kind of patchy and they break away from the eyelid and they look really gross, like just a few hours after applying them. Do not recommend this formula. I have just tried and tried and tried my hardest to make these work. Not my favorite. I love the one from HINDASH. I love this. This is still so damn pretty. Oh, this is a liquid eyeshadow. This is a phenomenal formula. Little goes the longest way, and boy, are they beautiful, okay? Love the ones from Lisa Eldridge. Oh my gosh, she did such a beautiful job on her liquid eyeshadows, but those from SISLEY are a flippin' hot mess. Not worth the money, y'all. Not even close. Let's talk about these. So, update on these. I'm not very happy about it. Remember how I told you I loved the Easy Wand Eye in the, what is this called? Super Chic Eyes? Well, it is a dry formula. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm so mad about this. I really loved this color and I loved the way that it blended out and I loved the way that it looked. But you guys, it dried out so quickly, and within a week or two, I went to grab it out of here because it sits upside down. This portion was down inside the thing and I had to tap on it to get it to come out. Well, what ticks me off about it is it's dry because it doesn't have a cap. So even though it fits down inside of here and kind of supposed to be snug, like this is supposed to be the lid, this thing dried out so damn fast, it ticks me off. I have to press freaking hard to get that pigment. Now it's like a chalky freaking mess. See this? This is how you know you have a dry formula. See, look at that. See how it looks like a crayon? Yeah. Here's the thing. This blush is fine. The blush works great. The blush is still super creamy, but that matte eyeshadow dried out on me crazy fast. And I think it's because it's so small. I mean, look how small this is. There probably wasn't a lot of moisture in there to begin with. And then it, you know, it just dried out. This, on the other hand, is a much thicker of a stick. Hasn't dried out at all. Now, here's the other side. So I need to ask you guys, how many of you guys bought this with this matte formula? And did you guys have the same experience I did? Now, here's the other side. This is the, oh, I can't read that, you guys. What does it say? This is the Golden Glow Eyes. Is that what it says? Gosh, my eyes are getting so bad, you guys. Oh! Now, these work fine. So this shimmer worked fine. It was the matte that dried out on me, and I am pissed. So anyways, let me know in the comment section down below if I'm the only one that happened to. I would love to hear, because it might just be mine. Let's quickly talk about this. This is the Westman Atelier Lip Suede in the Les Nudes. And I wanted to love this. I did, and I have tried to use it, but I just do not like this. This gives me hardly any color. And I put it in my purse and just tried to use it as an overall like lip something, to put something on the lip, right? When I do that, the color just doesn't show up on me. Like I run them through together and the color just is like hardly nothing. And this was expensive, and that's what makes me mad about it. So I can't remember how much these are, but it's like $40, $50 for this. I can't remember. Let me look. Holy shit. Wait, what? I paid $85 for it. I thought it was like 40 or 50. I thought I paid like $45 for it, $50. I did not know it's, You guys, don't buy this. Don't buy it. It's like the iPods. Absolutely worthless and not worth that money. So that's it, you guys. That's the list and kind of an update on many of the products that I've been testing over the last couple of months. Sound off down below how many of you guys have used the products that I discussed in today's video and what are your thoughts on it? I'm super curious to hear. So shout out down below. Let's just have a conversation. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.